Deshratan Nigam, you know, when the top court and the Chief Justice of the country says that gender is way more complex than genitals, there is hope then for the LGBT community, because when it comes down to the government's made it very clear. It seems marriage between the same sex is urban and elitist for the government.
Preeti, in fact, when one of the judges or the same judges made a comment that there is no absolute concept of a biological man and a woman, then he upturned the biology. Probably he missed his class 10th biology classes that we all learned. And the biological science clearly established there is an absolute
But Mr.
concept.
Deshratan Nigam, I want to correct you, and why I'm correcting you is, and I'm just coming in, gender has very little to do with biology anymore, sir.
No,
it's very little to do with biology.
See, so therefore gender and same sex should not be confused, and therefore it has to be kept different. That is the fine distinction which is there. And when the judge says there is no absolute concept of absolute man and women, then it is against science and rationality. Now let me come to Sanjay Hegde's assertions which he was making. Yes, we people sitting in studios or few people in urban centers cannot decide, you know,
Mr. Deshratan Nigam, are you telling, Mr. Deshratan Nigam, are you telling, you know, the country, because you're a national television, that homosexuality is an urban elitist concept? It only exists in urban centers and cities?
See, what is the source of your study? Has a widespread study has been done on this subject or not? Now, let me tell you, if it was an all-India phenomena, it would have been made into a legislation long time back, because elected MPs are very, you know, sensitive to popular opinions. They don't want to lose their seats, and therefore such laws would have come. People like from Congress, TMC, Communists are all speaking on national televisions, but none of them even bring the parties have brought the legislation in the parliament.
Mr. Nigam, I just want to take you through. I want to take you through, because you made a comment, and I'll correct you. You're a lawyer. I'm sure you'd appreciate it. Even the current definition, the grammar of gender, sir, is masculine, feminine, neutral. So that's the accepted, hear me out, sir. That's the accepted definition of what gender stands for. The second question I want to ask you, if you're saying, let's buy into what you're saying, which is that homosexuality is an urban elitist concept. In this country, which fundamental rights, equal rights, even if it is an urban elitist concept, do the clutch of urban elites not deserve equal rights?
See, that is to be debated in the parliament, not in the court of law. That is what I am saying. The definition of a marriage is that Sanjay Hegde was saying the word person is used, but look at the subsequent sections. And what was the parliamentary debate when this was passed? It was not about same sex, it was between man and women. So when the court looks into the intention, they go into the parliamentary debates to find out what was said in the parliament. It was not about same-sex marriage. And secondly, let me tell you what is the age, how is the age defined as one of the conditions of marriage. For bride it is 18 years, for bridegroom it is 21 years. The filing of the case for restitution of conjugal rights. What is conjugation? And one of the grounds for...
Tell me something. I want to bring in the petitioner, and I'll tell you, Mr.
No, allow me to finish. Allow me to finish first.
Please finish.
Because so many interpretations have been made, you know, my chain of thoughts gets, you know, wavered. So, therefore, apart from that, the issues that would come in adoption, you know, domestic violence laws where the women have got it, which is defined in between man and women, the violence which is done, about guardianship, so many things are there. Well, how will you define a family? How can you change the definition of a marriage in a court of law? It has to be done in
that definition
parliament.
has been long changed. Maybe it's not changed in the heads of certain individuals, where you even talk about legal rights, you know, where you talk about the age, consensual age of 18. It was 15 earlier, no? It was changed legally.
No,
it was changed legally through the courts of law. So as you evolve, you change. But having said that, sir, it's not an argument between you and I. Let me bring in the petitioner. Aditi Anand, would you want to respond to all what your co-panelist, Mr. Nigam, has said?
Certainly, I would love to. So can I just quickly say the question that you asked me, because I wanted to answer it. What do I expect from from the Supreme Court vis-a-vis the SMA. I would like to quote Menika Goswami from the first day in court when she said nothing short of full marriage. That moment gave me goosebumps, and that is what we expect from the top court in this country.
But Aditi, you're an urban elite. Why should you be given the same equality that your parliamentarians don't want to accord you as per your panelist?
I mean, I find this sort of filter of urban elite to be very hilarious. First of all, if anybody has bothered to actually read the entire list of petitioners and the people who are being represented in some of those petitioners, in those petitions, they would know that even in this list just of petitioners in the Supreme Court, in this case, everyone is certainly not urban. I don't know how to define this elite word, but they're certainly not urban. And there are some incredible and fantastic stories there. So first of all, I would recommend that before anybody makes commentary like this, they should at least look at the list of petitioners who are there. Secondly, to the point that that stories of people from rural India, I think a farmer from South India was mentioned, that people are not coming out asking for equal marriage. Look, nobody up to this point denied the fact that there were LGBTQI people all over the country. There have been multiple judgments on this. There have been the government themselves have said that we respect the dignity of LGBTQI people, recognizing that they exist in every corner of this country. So now basically the assumption that's being made is that all of those people don't want marriage, and that there's only a small clutch of people in cities who want marriage. That is so ridiculous. That is such an entirely ridiculous statement to make, because in this country, we have 3 pillars in society, every single religion: birth, death, and marriage. From the time that you're born, your parents, what do they want? They want you to get married. That when people say, are you settled? It's not, do you have a great job? It's, are you married? Do you have children? So you're saying that only people in urban centers want to be married? Or are you saying that because you've already accepted that LGBTQI people exist in every corner of this country? So what is it is very obvious that the reason that people in urban centers are finding it easier to come out and to ask for this is because we are coming from a certain place of privilege. Okay. And are you saying that people in rural areas should not be accorded that same right because they live in very difficult circumstances? That you want to push them further into those difficult circumstances? That the court is not here in order to be able to create social justice and social equity in the country? I think that for the government to suggest that this is an elite concept is sort of goes against every principle of social justice possible.
Right. Sanjay Hegde.
Last point.
Make your point. Make your point.
To the last point of the legislature, I mean, it's been 5 years since 377. So what was it that, so if this is the job of the legislature, then the legislature has done a really bad job. Because, why didn't they do that job in the last 5 years? There have been private member bills that have been introduced, and they have gone nowhere. Not only is there no conclusion, there is no discussion. So how is it that we are to trust the legislature to do the legislature to do its job? You can't tell us on the eve of a judgment that, hey, sorry, this is our job. You should have done it